Hello my friends and welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at it collectively at the Montblanc 146 versions of the Origin collection. There are three of them that I have available for myself. One is the Coral Sollitire, which is this beauty. The next is the Douai version, which is in blue. I think the 146 only is made in blue. The green one is the 145. And we have the blue resin, which I'll do an unboxing quickly. By now you may have seen the Origin collection boxing. It's pretty plain and simple. Montblanc figure in the back, their usual signature, which I'm thinking it's carried from early versions into this 100th anniversary and the Montblanc Origin collection. So apparently they have the 100th anniversary ink collection that's coming up sometime in May. It's not available for order here as far as I know, but if you look overseas you can pre-order it. Inside that box is another harder cardboard box, and inside this is a cradle. Inside the cradle you see the booklet for the 100th anniversary, pictures of the pens from prior years. One thing that I did mention in my 149 review as well is this interesting permanent guarantee. In the old days it used to be that these pens came with lifetime warranty. I do have a 149 from 1970s that has lifetime warranty on its booklet, but I've never exercised because that pen actually, despite being so old, writes very, very flawlessly. The pen is protected by this fabric pouch and then this cardboard. And there we can start looking at the Sollitire version. This is the Sollitire and that is the metal. Pretty much the whole body is made of metal. The trims are in gold. The usual Sollitire heft is there. They made the snow cap into same coral orange color. It looks pretty actually. Serial number is exactly where you would expect the serial number to be. And this is the signature that they've added. Nicely done. In the Sollitire version, this is actually engraved on the cap, which is good. I like it. On the Douai version, it seems like it's painted on and not really engraved. I can feel the paint there. So that's one worry, is that this paint will wear off over time. Moving on, the cap band is inscribed with Meisterstuck 1924 to 2024. We have seen the cap redesign by now. Some people seem to love it, others seem to hate it. To me, it's a welcome change. It's an homage to earlier iterations of the pen. Can't help but think that this is somewhat reminiscent of the Pilot clip. For example, this is the Namiki Yukari Royale. Also has a little ball at the end. I would say they both look pretty good. Maybe the Namiki looks a little bit more classy, if you ask me, but other people may have different opinions. Uncapping this pen takes 1 3/4 turns. The nib is an 18 karat gold, yellow gold color. This is a medium. It seems like the Sollitire all come in medium nib. Any of the other usual nib sizes from extra fine, fine, medium, oblique medium, broad, oblique broad, double broad, oblique double broad. The oblique triple broad is not available for the 146 size pens. It's only available for the 149, and I have confirmed with Montblanc that they will do nib exchange to oblique triple broad on 149s if you send it within the 6 weeks of purchasing the pen from an authorized dealer or Montblanc themselves. So that's the nib, its usual size. And comparing this to the other versions, they're pretty much similar size, and the blue version is also similar size. Very nice. The one question that remains is, how does this compare to the other 146s? For example, the Around the World in 80 Days. I have handy here the Sollitire Le Petit Prince. They seem to be about the same size. The Le Petit Prince Sollitire nib is probably a little bit more elegant. It's rose gold coated, of course, with the sheep there. The 100th anniversary ones are either solid yellow or ruthenium coated, which is not bad. It's elegant, but not very special in my opinion. And comparing this to the Around the World in 80 Days, again we see the same size, similar size of the nibs. What baffles me is that the Around the World in 80 Days nib is actually a medium nib, as is the 100th anniversary Sollitire, but you see that they appear vastly different to the eye. Actually, in writing also, the Around the World in 80 Days nib writes a lot finer than my other 146 medium nibs. That's the nib. The grip section is metal. It's not bad, the grip section. There's a taper from the body to grip section, which is quite pronounced if you pay attention, but it does not really affect the quality of the grip much, so it is still very comfortable in hand. It is quite back heavy, this one, in terms of posting. I don't think this is really made to post, so I would avoid that. Plus it's also already a very heavy pen. The body is again similar material to the cap. Very nice work. It's beautifully done in design. What I'm not sure about is if this is going to scratch up over time and how long it'll take. Will it scratch quickly or not as quickly? What I can tell you is that I have had the Around the World in 80 Days for a few months, and I've used it off and on. I don't really see many scratches on the body, so it seems like they're pretty good at handling day-to-day use. On the resin version, everything seems to be similar to the usual 146, except for the piston ring being metallic, similar to some of the special editions, such as the Le Petit Prince. The Le Petit Prince resin version with the metal cap as well. So to me, to my eyes, these two pens pretty much are similar. They're the same design overall, and the resin version is the exact same thing. There is no discernible difference. I have to make sure I don't mistake them and swap them. They're both inscribed as fine. I'm sure the bodies are interchangeable. The cap may not be. So the cap on the Duet version is again metallic and resin interspersed. The engraving here seems to be in painting as it is on the resin version. So that's a little bit disappointing because over time these wear out. If it's painting, it will wear out. Same problem exists in the Orient Express 149. I don't know what measures they've taken to ensure that there's some longevity on the writing here. But time will tell. I'd be interested to find out over time how well these hold up. Overall, I really like the looks of the Duet version. It looks a little bit special without being over the top. Once you uncap to write with it, it's a usual 146 that you can write with. It's a little bit back weighted, but nothing out of the ordinary. Writing experience is quite interesting. And if you're used to one of the special editions, such as the Le Petit Prince, there is no difference. The writing experience is the same, because the piston mechanisms are pretty much identical based on just the feel of it. The Sollitire is, like I mentioned, a little bit back weighted. I would not consider this a day-to-day, daily use pen. It's probably special occasions. The Duet version is very nice. I wouldn't mind using this on a day-to-day basis, but it is very, very expensive. This is around $1,800. The Sollitire is marketed for $2,800, and add taxes to that and quickly adds up to a very insane number. The more affordable of these is the Resin 146, which is also a very beautiful pen. This looks almost identical in looks to the 149 version in terms of overall aesthetics. However, the color of this one is more blue than the 149. 149 is mostly just black, and even marbleized cap is quite subtle, and it's at the first glance couldn't look like scratches, but it is marbleized. Very beautiful nonetheless. The 146 version has a very dark navy blue with a little bit more prominent marbleization of the cap, which is very welcome. It's very, very nice pen actually. It looks beautiful. It also writes very nicely, as we'll get to it. Those are my impressions. Of course, both of these pens, the Duet and the usual resin, they have their ink windows. The Sollitire is full metal body and does not have an ink window. So I have inked the Duet version and the resin version with Waterman Serenity Blue, and we're going to do a writing sample to compare to see how these pens write. Not much of line variation. So there we go, interesting writing experience. These are very similar to the usual modern 146 nibs. The writing experience is very similar to those. The nibs are very smooth. Really, it seems like perfectly tuned. Out of the box, didn't have any scratchiness, no problems, really. What that leaves us with is the decision whether or not this is a good idea to purchase one of these in this year. My recommendation is directed towards non-collectors, because collectors will probably get all of these. To me, the writing experience between the Douai and the resin version is not very different. The price difference is drastic. The Douai version is around $1,800, whereas the resin version is about $1,000. They're still very steep price, but for an anniversary, centennial anniversary edition, probably not a bad proposition. The Douai version is just so out of reach for most of us that it's hard to recommend, but it is a beautiful pen, and if you can afford getting this without going into debt, definitely a good thing to have for the years and years to come. And hopefully this will definitely, if well taken care of, outlive a person and can be passed on to future generations. So either one of these can serve you pretty much a lifetime, and they have a very, very good track record. They last a long time. Their ink capacity is great. Writing experience is sublime. So I would recommend the resin version for the masses. The Douai version is for those who can afford it without selling a kidney or picking up a second mortgage. It's crazy how expensive they price these. The Sollitire version it's a very heavy pen. This is really not a practical day-to-day writing pen in general. That is to say that the Sollitire versions can be quite useful and helpful. For me, this is their best representation of their centennial anniversary, their 100th anniversary. So I have decided to have this. I'm not a pen collector, but the aesthetics of this pen are very, very attractive to me. I really like looking at this pen, and I think just having this and looking at it sometimes, writing with it, and enjoying the experience, to me, is worth it at the end of the day. I cannot recommend this to general population. However, if you are interested in this, I strongly, strongly recommend that you pick up one of these from someone who has it, or go to a boutique and do the experience, the writing with it and just holding it in general. It's not an uncomfortable pen, so it is very well balanced, considering that the metal end cap here is a little bit back heavy. However, the rest of the body compensates for that imbalance, and the pen is very well balanced. So I say to experience it before you decide to purchase it. I purchased this because I really, like I mentioned before, I really like the aesthetics, and just looking at this is quite pleasant. So those are my recommendations. I hope that you find this interesting and maybe just a little bit entertaining. Let me know if you want these compared to any of the other pens in my position, and let me know if you have any questions, and if you have any suggestions for future videos or comparisons of various pens, do let me know. I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day. Goodbye.